July 7th, 1980, morning session continues.
From that which is witness.
दुसरे भाषे त्याच्यामध्ये काहीचा अभिप्राय म्हणजे अभिमान घेऊन मी असा आहे मानलं म्हणून याच्यातही तुला गोष्टी घडलेल्या तुला साधं किंवा माझं आहे.
In this witnessing, in these experiences, you have assumed that you are the body and you are involved in it. Therefore, you get the reactions of whatever you have seen and witnessed. Only because you have identified yourself with the body.
एवढं तुला कळते आहे ते आणि त्याच्यामुळे कळलेले ते त्याचा जाणता तेव्हा पैकी कोण
Whatever it is, because of which you see, and that which has been seen, you are not concerned with either. You are a part. Prashna विचारायचा. By all means.
In this worldly life, living the worldly life, and being a person of the Grahastha ashram, earning a living, judging, working, sleeping, laughing, chatting, mixing with the people upon the people. Is it possible to not to identify oneself entirely with the body?
हा गृहस्थाश्रम चालू असताना
त्यासाठी हे रूप असणं नसणं याच्यामध्ये तुला रूप काय आहे मग हा तू.
So he said, what is that? Show me a sample of that which you think is identifying itself with the body.
Generally, one identifies oneself with the body. One should not identify oneself with the body. It is not body and consciousness and buddhi. You are not body, consciousness and buddhi. You are something different. I is something different. But you do identify in this world. Is it possible not to identify completely?
No, that question has been conveyed. To that, Maharaj is asking, what is this I that you mean, which cannot keep away from identifying
It's the same I of which Maharaj talks.
ज्याबद्दल महाराजांनी सांगितलं की त्याने देहाची एकरूप न असता जे काही चाललंय त्याच्यापासून विरक्त असलं पाहिजे, त्याच्याबद्दल मी म्हणतो की त्याला देहापासून असं विरक्त राहणं शक्य आहे.
देहाची मुकाबला कशामुळे आहे. देह आणि जगाची मुकाबला कशामुळे होतो घडतोय.
Why is there any relationship with the world and what goes on in the world? How does the relationship between the body and the world,
समजून खोलवा.
how does the relationship arise?
Because the I is encased in the body, and it is the body that keeps on coming in contact with material beings, other bodies, animate or inanimate.
जगाशी संबंध येतो तो देहाचा येतो.
अरे जाणीवेचा येतो. जाणीवेचा कोणाशी संबंध आहे.
So he says, you think it is the body which comes in contact. So he said, if that consciousness had not been there, how could the body have come in contact with the rest of the world? So what comes in contact with the world?
The I comes in contact with the world through the body.
देहाशी संबंध मी आहे त्याचा पण देहाच्या माध्यमात.
देहाचं माध्यम असं की जगाचं माध्यम असतो. तुझ्यावर तू असल्याची जाणीव तुला जवळ आहे तेवढंच. तू असल्याची जाणीव तर माध्यम काय शेवट काय.
She said, whatever the medium, whatever the madhyam, as you said, if that consciousness were not there, where is the question of either the medium or that with which the medium comes in contact? If the consciousness were not there. then does the body exist or even the world exist?
That is very correct. And that is such and correct.
ते अगदी पूर्ण समजलं. आता हे जाणीवेशिवाय काहीच
आता जाणलेला तू गॉड म्हणून सोडून
then he says, consider this beingness or consciousness as the supreme God and let go.
पण तू त्याचं जाणतो तू वेगळा नाही.
And
जरी
you,
पण तू त्याचं जाणतो वेगळा.
and even then, you as the knower of this are separate.
Are separate from what? From the body.
From the consciousness.
Buddhi and body. Is that? I know. The I is separate from all these three. You know the I know.
तेही समजलं. तेही समजलं. तुम्ही मी ह्या सगळ्यापासून वेगळा आहे.
म्हणजे समजतो त्याच्यामध्ये तुला आता उपद्रव नाही ना. तू काय समजलास आणि समजतो त्याचा उपद्रव तुला आता नाही ना. काय समजला?
Then he says, you have understood. I told him, you say you have understood. So, he says, that which you have understood. So you can have now, that which you have understood can work no mischief on you then. Isn't that so?
I have understood with my buddhi.
मी बुद्धीने समजलं.
कबूल आहे पण बुद्धीच्या आधी काय आहे तुझ्याकडे?
He says, that is correct. That it is, you can only use the instrument of the intellect to understand. But what is prior to the intellect?
The Atma.
आत्मा आहे.
होय म्हण. आता आत्मा तू ओळखतो म्हणजे त्याचाही तू साक्षी होतोय.
So now he said, you understand the Atma. Therefore, that which understands the Atma must be prior to even the Atma.
That means buddhi.
Atma is prior to Buddhi.
Yes.
And you understand Buddhi and also that Atma is prior to Buddhi.
I understand Atma with buddhi. My buddhi tells me that there is Atma. I want to understand
अरे बुद्धी म्हणायचं का ज्ञान म्हण ना.
बरोबर.
बुद्धी हे नाव तू घेतोय तर ज्ञान हे नाव दे ना त्यांना.
बुद्धि का ज्ञान के आत्मज्ञान. I want आत्मज्ञान, not बुद्धि का ज्ञान.
तू असलेलं जे ज्ञान याच्याच सर्व पर्याय आहे. तू असलेलं ज्ञान नसताना काय आणि या ज्ञानाचं साक्षीत्व हे ज्ञान नव्हते.
महाराज मुझे वो ज्ञान कौन सा ज्ञान है? मुझे
आता
आत्मा
बोलतो आहे ते कोण बोलतोय?
मुझे मेरी आत्मा बोल रही है कि मेरी बुद्धि बोल रही है? मुझे पता नहीं.
ठरव
जी.
कोण बोलतोय तू ठरव.
He says, you decide.
You means who? My आत्मा कि my ज्ञान बुद्धि? तो मैं यहाँ कंफ्यूजन होता है मेरा. यहाँ पे गोंधळ
इथे फार गोंधळ झालाय म्हणतो.
म्हणतो हा गोंधळ काही नाहीये. तुला तू आहे हे जाणवते ते जाणवत्याचं दर्शन घडतंय. तुझं दर्शन याच्यात नाहीये.
So he says, there can be no confusion. Understand a simple fact, and that is that any kind of experience, any conceivable experience can only come upon this consciousness.
त्याला बुद्धीला म्हणतो ज्ञान का म्हणत नाहीस तू?
He says, why do you keep saying
What is the
that?
difference?
If there is no difference, then why bring in another thing?
Okay,
You see,
Jan.
he has told what? That there is beingness of consciousness.
ज्ञान नसताना बुद्धी कुठे आहे?
So unless there is consciousness, body, buddhi, mind, whatever, can anything be there without this consciousness? Answer is obviously no. If I'm unconscious, there is, as far as I'm concerned, there is nothing. So in that consciousness, then I can see my body and the world. So it is basically, it is only on this consciousness that any movement or experience can happen.
You mean to say the consciousness thinks? Has it the power to think? The consciousness? Or to feel only?
Look, on that consciousness, something happens. Whatever movement, any thought, any experience, all that can only happen on this consciousness. And Maharaj says, you are prior to this consciousness. And therefore, you are neither the consciousness, that is neither the instrument, nor what happens on that instant. Neither the consciousness nor anything that happens on the consciousness. That is any thought or experience, whatever happens. And you are apart from it. This is what
That you are apart from it.
that you are apart
That
from
fact. To the fact that you are apart from it and you are that. Originally you are that.
Yes.
Yes. The trouble was that oftentimes you cannot forget that you are in a body. That is my trouble. I know, I am conscious of that. Otherwise I would have been a preta. Since मनुष्य चोला में शरीर में है, शरीरधारी आत्मा इस शरीर में है, so आत्मा knows that I am in a शरीर. Otherwise doing different yoni problems in the same consciousness. That is my trouble. Probably that is trouble with everybody, that you cannot forget that. You know, I know that I am not the body, not the buddhi, not the consciousness. I am that. Because Maharaj ne poot ke phara. I know. But to know, to have that jnana and to identify oneself and certificate, वो अगर हो जाएगा, आत्मसात हो जाएगा विद दैट सत्य के साथ, तो फिर हम तो
महाराजांनी अगदी सोलून सांगितलंय की त्याचं मग मी समजलं की मी देह नाहीये, तरी पण
देह नाही आहे, देह पदार्थजन्य आहे. आणि ते त्याच्यामध्ये पदार्थजन्य जो देह आहे, त्या पदार्थजन्य देहाचे सत्वाचा गुणमान आहे. गुण
this is again he is repeating that this body is made of the five elements. That is, it is a material body. He calls it a food body. And in that is this consciousness, because of which the body has its functions. And the body is able to make its senses work. Or the senses in the body work only because the consciousness is there. And you are separate from this body and the consciousness. It's the only thing to do.
તમે મારી જોડે ગુસ્સે છો, હું બહુ ગુસ્સે છું, તમે ડોક્ટર નું કેમ નથી સાંભળતા?
એની ખબર મને
કરે છે એ તમારી ચોપડીઓ દરરોજ વાંચે છે 2 વર્ષથી. તો એમને મને લખ્યું કે તમારી તબિયત સારી નથી.
એને શું ખબર?
ત્યાં જાય છે તો ત્યાંથી ખબર. એ તો છે બરાબર,
એમ છે તેમ જ છે.
બધું શરીરને
મારામાં બિગાડ થયેલો નથી.
બરાબર છે, હું માનું છું. એટલે બસ એ તો આપણે રાખીએ, પણ એ લોકોને કરવા દો ને, શરીરના ડોક્ટરને શરીરને જોવા દો.
હા, પણ તે ઓલો માને તો ને, કોણ કરે? સાદું થવાનું જોઈએ, સાદું થવા જોઈએ. હું માને તો, જેને સાદું થવા જોઈએ એ માને તો ભલે ને.
પણ જો મેં ફોન કર્યો તો કેમ કે અમારો ફોન ચાલતો નતો, પછી બહુ એમ ચોક્કસ
ડાક્ટર ને ઉપાય લેવાનું નથી, હું ઓળખ ઉપાય લેવું છે.
બરાબર.
મારાથી ઉપચાર મારે થતા નથી તો મારી મને ગરજ નથી.
શરીર થોડો ક્ષીણ થયો છે.
ભલે શરીર હોય કે આત્મા હોય, હું આત્માની પેલા છે. આવા નહીં હતા હું જાણું છું, હું આવા નહીં હતા હું જાણું છું. હવે આવા છે તો ભગવાન નું રૂપ છે. હમણાં આવા છે ભગવાન નું રૂપ છે, મારું નથી. ભગવાન મળી જાય તો મને શું? એના ગુજરાતી કોઈ છે? મળે તો મને શું? અને એ વાત કોઈ થાય ભગવાન મળે,
પણ આ બધાની ચિંતા થાય છે. એ લોકો
હા બરાબર છે, ઈચ્છા થાય તો આટલું ફોન કરવાનો એ ઉપાય છે.
પૂછો નહીં, તમે એક વાર પછી કહીશ. અહીંયા શું નથી થયું ને શું થયું મેં એટલે પછી વાત કરીશ. હું બી એવી ને એવી જ છું. બધું થયા કરે છે,
તમને
બધું જાય છે, બધું આવે છે. તમે એક વાર મારી પાસે લખેલું છે ચોપડીમાં, તમે એક વાર કીધું હતું કે તારા બધું જશે ને તારું બધું આવશે. હવે એનું અર્થ કઈ સમજણ પડે એવું નથી, પણ બધું ગયું તો છે, હવે આવશે એ ખબર નથી. ઠીક છે.
God dies, I am not concerned.
બાકી કઈ છે?
તકલીફ છે કે શ્વાસ ને પ્રાણ ને છે. મને તકલીફ છે કે ખાલી પ્રાણ ની તકલીફ છે, બાકી કાયાની તકલીફ નથી. પહેલા આવીને આમ 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 કરીને સફર કરી જાય. મોટા મોટા ડોક્ટર આવીને જાય.
મને ખબર
ખબર નથી.
તો તમને બધી ખબર હશે.
મને ખબર છે ભગવાન છે, કોને જવાનું છે, મને શું કરવાનું. ચોક્કસ મને ખબર છે ભગવાન તો એક નામ એક રૂપે રહેતા જ નથી, બદલી લે છે. તમને શું કહેવાનું છે બોલો મારા માટે?
અહીંયા કઈ આટલું સારું જ છે, પૂરી ખતમ નથી.
જીવનાનંદ મળે છે
એ હમણાં તો ત્યાં છે, ઘણા મળું છું કોઈ કોઈ વાર, પણ એટલે શું બસ
આ સાચું નથી, આ જૂઠું છે.
વિવેક છે પણ વૈરાગી નથી.
એ જ વૈરાગી.
હવે એ વૈરાગી કરવા માટે
આ સુવર્ણનું નથી. આ સોનું છે માને તો અભિલાષ છે, આ સોનું નથી.
પછી એ એનું શું કહેવાય છે, આપણે મારી છે ને ગુજરાતી બગડી ગઈ છે, હિન્દી બગડી. એનું એક શબ્દ છે પ્રોસેસ, પ્રક્રિયા ચાલે છે કે જો આ બધું છે ને તું છું ને બધું જાય છે. હવે તું એવી રેવી જ છું એવું લાગે છે, જાય છે તો જાય, આવે છે તો આવે, એવું બધું ચાલે છે. એટલે સખત ચારે બાજુ સખત બધું બદલે છે ને એવું થાય છે. એમ તમારી સામે બોલવાની કઈ જરૂર નથી કે એનું કઈ અર્થ જ નથી. બસ એવું છે.
તમારા પ્રાણ છે શું ચીજ છે? તમારા પાસે તમે છો એ પ્રાણ છે, બીજું શું છે?
બધું છે ને કશું નથી.
આ પાનું ના પાન તમારી પાસે પ્રાણ છે સિવાય શું છે? એ પ્રાણ જ ભગવાન છે, પ્રાણ આત્મા છે. આત્મા ઉપર છે, પ્રાણ ઉપર છે, એક જ છે.
અને હું જાણું છું એ બી છે ને, એટલે એ છે હું જાણું છું.
જાણવા વાળા કેવા છે?
એ તો છે જ, એ છે.
શું છે? જાણવા વાળા પ્રાણ નથી, ભગવાન પણ નથી. જાણીએ છે કે પ્રાણ પણ છે, ભગવાન પણ છે. જ્યાં પ્રાણ છે ત્યાં ભગવાન હોય, જ્યાં પ્રાણ છે ત્યાં આત્મા જરૂર હોય. પ્રાણ નથી તો આત્મા.
Maharaj said, all you have is the breath, life force. And life force, yesterday, anyway, the earlier part of the prana, that is life force, is Atma. Other than that, he says, what have you got? He keeps coming back to the same thing. Other than that, he says, what have you got? When the lady was trying to...
The knowing force.
What? So he said, no, just tell me, is there anything else other than this? He wouldn't let her proceed. He said, other than this, have you got anything? There is nothing.
No, then, sorry, excuse me. Then I said that the knower, who knows that there is the prana or the vital force. So he says, yes, but the knower is there, but what is the knower? I mean, that was also...
He also said that knower is God itself.
No.
No, he said that the knower is there, but there is a life force that
आधी
is
आपण
God.
सांगितलं त्याच्याबद्दल विचारतात ते म्हटलं विचार करायचे त्याच्याबद्दल
त्या शब्दाचा उत्तर होत असेल.
हो
आता मी काय सांगतोय, प्राणी मात्र जवळ प्राण म्हणून जी लिंगश आहे,
हो
तो भगवान आए तो चमत्कार जेव्हा जिथे प्राण नाही तिथे पूर्ण नाही भगवान नाही आहे ते मिलन जगता બ્રહ્મ
એમ પૂછે છે પણ જે જાણનારો છે જે જાણે છે કે આ પ્રાણ છે અને પ્રાણ છે
પ્રાણ નહીં હોય તો શું જાણે છે
તો જે જાણે છે એ કોણ છે
પ્રાણ નહીં હોય તમારા પાસે તો મેં શું જાણશું
તો તમે જાણશો જ નહીં એમ પ્રાણ
વિના પ્રાણ એટલે પ્રાણ ઉપર આ ભગવાન પરમાત્મા છે આવી શ્રદ્ધા રાખીને જ્ઞાન કરો.
this is so he says that if you don't have the life force then how do you know what so you keep faith on that that this life or this prana itself is God sort of I mean that is
That's what I have.
yeah
એને ફુરસદ નથી પરમાત્માનું ધ્યાન કરવા માટે
નાકામી
નિર્માલક છે
નહીં ગઈ મિલો બધી
શું કહ્યું
ગઈ મિલો તો આપણે શું કહીએ આપણે જન્મ્યા હતા મિલ માલિક થઈને કશું વાંધો નહીં
નિર્માલક છે
અને પણ નાકામી છે બિલકુલ ધ્યાન નથી અત્યારે બિલકુલ સમય જ નથી
અને ક્યાં છે તમારો
અત્યારે અમદાવાદ ગયા છે પણ આમ અહીંયા છે હવે અમે અમદાવાદ જવાના છીએ બાબા એવું નક્કી થાય છે રહેવા ત્યાં રહેવાથી સારું થશે કે અહીંયા
તમે છોડવાની છે
એવું લાગે છે કેમ કે અહીંયા કઈ કામ નથી ત્યાં થોડું કામ છે બંને
કેમ
છેલ્લા વર્ષમાં તમે તો મારું ખ્યાલ જ નથી રાખતા પછી હું શું કહું ના ગઈ સારું ગઈ કે રહી એનો વાંધો નથી તો બધું થયું એટલે હવે કદાચ ત્યાં જવાનું ચાલે છે બધું સમાન એ લોકો ઘરમાં આવ્યા તો અડધું બધું એ થઈ ગયું છે તો એ બધું
મીનું ગઈ તો 5,000 મને ખાવાનું તો મળશે
હા એ તો મળે જ છે
બસ તો બધું
એની તો ચિંતા જ નથી
5,000 ખાવાનું મળશે ને
ચોક્કસ.
તો ભલે નહીં
એ તો હું કહું છું
enough for you to live.
પણ અહીંયા રહીએ કે ત્યાં રહીએ એ વાત.
If everything else goes.
હા that's true. પણ હવે અહીંયા રહીએ કે ત્યાં રહીએ એવું છે ત્યાં બી ઘર છે અહીંયા બી છે તો ત્યાં થોડું કામ છે એક નાનું અહીંયા હજી નથી અહીંયા કરવું પડશે નવું શરૂ એટલે વિચાર કરે છે કે ત્યાં જઈને જે છે નાનું એને કરીએ અથવા અહીંયા વધારીએ એમને તો પહેલા કીધું કે અહીંયા રહો તો બી સારું છે પણ જયારે એમને ખબર પડી કે ત્યાં નાનું કામ છે
મારું કઈ પણ કામ નહીં. આ દુઃખ પડે ને ત્યારે હું દુનિયા જોઉં છું મને મારી ચિંતા નથી ભગવાનની ચિંતા નથી મને ભગવાનની ચિંતા નથી મારી ચિંતા નથી સમજી લેવો હોય તો કોઈ વખત મળો પણ તમને ટાઈમ નથી
અરે છે તમે તો એટલું
આવી દવા કઈ તમે પીએ નીચે કરીને કહો છો
ખરી વાત
કેન્દ્ર તમે તમને જાનો છે આજ છે કે બીજી છે નાટક નું કેન્દ્ર તમને તમારી યાદ છે આજ નાટક નું કેન્દ્ર છે કે ને
બરાબર
અંગ્રેજી બની શકે
The lady is saying, because she's been having a lot of difficulties. So she says all these difficulties that come and go, she merely watches them like something in a play. One act goes, one scene finished, another scene takes place. So he says it is going on like an act. When Maharaj says that whatever is seen as an act, that all that act and all that play takes place. Does it take place anywhere other than in yourself? That is, if she didn't have this consciousness, would she be aware of this play that she says is going on? So ultimately, whatever the play, whatever scenes and acts that take place are merely movements in her own consciousness.
હવે આ દેશનું શું તમારી કઈ તમને તો જો કે કઈ છે જ નહીં પણ શું બધા કોઈ પૂછે છે કે શું થવાનું છે આપણું અહીંયા કઈ એમને જ રહેવાનું છે કે કઈ બહુ અહીંયા ઉથલ પુથલ થવાની છે આમાં કોઈ વાર કરું છું
આ જ છે ત્યાં સુધી દુનિયા છે તમને જે તમને યાદ નથી દુનિયા ક્યાં છે
પણ તમે ખ્યાલ રાખો તમારી તબિયત નો ખ્યાલ રાખો તમારે લીધે નહીં પણ બીજાને લીધે તમે બીજાઓને એટલું આપી દીધું છે કે જો આ શરીર અહીંયા હોય કે ના હોય તો એ લોકો બધા બધું જેટલા છે એ બધું જાળી રાખશે એને.
હું છું એ ખ્યાલ ક્યાંથી આવ્યો છે હું જાણું છું. રાખવાની શું ગરજ છે? હું છું એ ખ્યાલ છે એ ક્યાંથી આવ્યો હું જાણું છું. રાખવાની શું ગરજ છે?
Guru has been urging Maharaj to take care of himself. So he said, who is to take care of what? I know what has come upon my original state. And there is nothing to take care of that. It's a happening which has come, it will take care of itself. And whatever has happened has not been affected. I have not been affected. So who is to take care of what? Person in taking care of anything.
દુનિયાના ભલે કોણ કરીને ગયા છે? એટલા મોટા મોટા આવ્યા પણ દુનિયાનું કાયમ ભલે કોણ કરે છે?
World has been in existence millions of years. There have been thousands of avatars and big men and important personalities. Has any single personality been able to do anything to change the natural course of events in the world? Has any personality been able to change the natural course?
પણ થોડું રંગ ભરે છે, કોઈ થોડું રંગ છાંટીને જાય છે ને કોઈ થોડી
થોડા ટાઈમ
બટ એ બી જરૂરી છે, નહીં તો રહી જ ના
આ
શકે.
રંગ ઉડી જાય છે, ઓલાય ઉડી જાય છે.
હા ઓલાય ઉડી જાય.
Throw some color in the world. Because how long?
ઉડેલા છે
પીરેલા છે પણ પચે છે, અત્યારે પચે છે. પચે નહીં તો અહીંયા અત્યારે બેઠી ન હોઉં, ખરેખર કહું છું. આવી રીતે કેમ કે બધું ઘણું થયું છે, એટલું બધું થયું છે કે બસ કહેવાય જેવું નથી. પણ ચાલે છે, કઈથી એ દવાની અસર ચાલે છે મારામાં. તો ઘણા એમ કહે છે કેમ કે અમારે ત્યાં એમના ઘરના લોકોએ બી બહુ જાત જાતના કષ્ટો આપ્યા છે ને પેલું શું કહેવાય છે દગો આપ્યો છે ને બધું. પણ જઈને સામે જઈને રડું, ના રડું, શાંત રહું તો બી એ લોકો નથી ગમતું. એવું છે.
એ જે કરે ને શાંતિ નું ધૈર્ય છે. સવાર બીજું ન
એમને બે
Some question fate. You've got to do something, you've got to take a pill, you've got to go and get this and that. You know, I think our experience of what's happening in America now with the practice of medicine is a lot of us are saying now, sometimes it's better not to do anything than to rush in, you know, with all our magic pills and everything.
gave the message earlier that he should take him, but after meeting him, I feel that he is the right judge. Let him decide, because even if the doctors do everything they think they can, I mean it's a matter of only time. हाँ मैम.
Whereas the systems that many young doctors are starting to look at now accept that it's the life force, that the prana that heals, and that either you aid it to do its work or you can't.
Yeah, you can aid it.
And that's all we can do. And if it does not want to do it, there's nothing in the world that you can do. And if you obstruct it by cutting and burning and poisoning, you'll cause more pain throughout the body.
As a whole,
Who photograph realize photograph mirror. And I have been also in touch with their writings, and I also regard them as reverend people. Like Krishna Paramhansa, they were of different class. Their methods were different. They were of great philosophy. And yet I find their photographs. Does it mean that there is any difference between all? नाही, यांचं म्हणणं असं इथे रामकृष्ण परमहंसांचे सगळ्यांचे फोटो आहे ते रामकृष्ण परमहंसांचे त्यांच्या द्वैतावर सांगत होते. आपण अद्वैत सांगतो, त्यामुळे ते द्वैत आणि अद्वैतामध्ये काही फरक नाही का, असा प्रश्न.
સત્તાબદ્ધ અજ્ઞાન હશે તો મને ફરક થાય. અને બ્રહ્મ અભેદ अज्ञान म्हणजे काही फरक असेल, अज्ञान असेल
हो.
फरक आहे. म्हणजे ब्रह्म अभेद अद्वैत आहे.
This is, differences can only arise after the consciousness comes into being. In fact, the arising of the consciousness, Maharaj says, is itself Dvaita. But prior to the arrival of the consciousness, there is nothing but abheda. There is total wholeness.
And even afterwards.
It always is. And what has come upon is Dvaita. And that is time bound. Whatever has come on this original state is time bound. And the original state is timeless and spaceless. And that is abheda. It is one whole. It is wholeness. So there are two. So it is whole. Not one, but whole.
Ramakrishna said, what Maharaj said is the same.
Different angles.
तत्व आणि महाराज सांगतात आणि रामकृष्ण परमहंस सांगतात ते एकच नाही का?
अरे मूळ तत्वच एक आहे, त्याच्यात दोन नाही.
So this is already told you that the basic essence is only whole, one.
मुळात जे पाहिजे आहे आमच्या सगळीकडे तेच आहे. मग लहान मोठे अमकं चमकं पापी पुण्यावर आहे कुठे तिथे.
So all these differences are subsequent. So have to be a concept. So basically, when in the wholeness, how can there be sin or merit or any kind of duality?
जयाच्या उपरी तुला मानतोय म्हणून तुला पाप पुण्याचा अनुभव येतोय. जयाच्या ओळखीशिवाय तू चैतन्य ब्रह्मा हे पाहिलं मग तुला पाप पुण्याचा अनुभव येणार नाही.
Only when there is identification with the body mind, then only the question of merit and sin comes into being. Without that, there is no question of any sin or merit or any kinds of duality. So I say it is acceptable then. So he says, what is acceptable?
I'm telling you, તમે જાણે પંદર I'm telling you frankly, this translation is because I can understand in sense. I don't know Marathi there, but you can also. Yeah, so
there is something by which you are able to say that you understand. And you are separate from that. That is, it is only what you think you have understood is only a movement in your consciousness. And you are separate from that consciousness. So as far as you are concerned, there is no question of understanding or not understanding.
When we have a mental grasp of somebody's teaching, it gets us back to realize that we haven't at all. We're still the same person suffering in the same way.
તમારું સાંભળે કે કોઈનું બી સાંભળે અને પછી એને ખબર પડે છે કે આ વસ્તુ આવી છે પણ તોય જે વ્યક્તિ છે સફરિંગ મીન્સ કે એને એ જ ને દુઃખો સહ્યા કરે છે ને એવી રીતે જ રહે છે એને ઉતારી કેમ નથી શકતો જીવનમાં એ એમ કહે છે.
જેનાથી તમને ખબર પડી એ વ્યક્ત તો જાણો શું છે વ્યક્ત.
That is what I was going to say. What is making you feel that you know that you are suffering, or you know the knower, there is some difference if you never heard them, let's say, or you never knew that this sort of ideal exists. You want to be like that, or you want to realize that, you are saying, but you cannot. You means any one of us cannot. But at least when you know it, that there is a difference, because you know that something in you is suffering and something is away which is watching and wanting to change. I mean, there is a difference in a person, let's say, who doesn't know about this philosophy or this thing.
He's saying very much what I also said the other day. That we have read his आत्मसात नहीं होता.
कशाचा उपयोग त्याला पटला करतो साधन काय.
Because of what do you think you have understood? Without which you would not be able to understand.
समझला मगर
उनका वचन पूछता सुनो क्या सुनते. उन्होंने किया तो काया नहीं है तो चैतन्य है पांच जन्म में क्या है ओळखी रे 5 जन्म तू केले आपले 5 जन्म तू नाही आहे 5 जन्म ते ओळखी रे तुका वचन तुमचा नाव सभा बनतो
Maharaj, we read the book, we understand.
He's saying that. Yeah.
But
Not for me.
unless there is grace from the Guru, what has been intellectually understood cannot be studied. So Maharaj said that the Guru's grace is always there, you won't accept it. Why won't you accept it? Because you won't accept the Guru's word. So therefore he says, go back and understand that what is born, that which the name Bob is given is not true. We should go back to that and understand it.
ओळखी रे
हाँ,
ओळखून रे
हाँ,
म्हणजे तिथे सगळे संशय झाले
हाँ. We should understand very thoroughly how that original creation took place of the body as an infant and even prior. How did the conception take place? How did the infant come into being? Without you asking for it. Understand that.
हे बाळरूप अणू एवढं होतं
हाँ,
आता असं झालं
हाँ.
असं झालं पण अख्खा जगरूप झालाय पण ते अणू एवढं आहे आणि ते तुला माहिती आहे तू त्याची ओळख घे बाल रूपाची
You should understand thoroughly that drop of stuff which has now developed into this body. Understand that, and then you will understand the whole mystery. That's, you are not merely by words, you should understand that. So what is
एवढं आहे उपमध्ये केवढं होतं
हाँ,
काय उपाय होतो
हाँ. This body that is now occupies a certain space. How much space did it occupy when it was conceived? And what was it then? And if you understand that, you will understand the mystery will be solved.
हे मोठं झालं आहे हेच बघतोय त्याला भुलला आहे याचं बीज रूप नाही ओळखलं
You see, we only go by the body that we are now and don't understand the root of it. And that is why we think we are this body. And for that, you must do meditation.
ज्ञानाचं ध्यान केलं ज्ञानाचं ध्यान केलं पाहिजे म्हणजे ज्ञान अजून कसा निर्माण झाला हे कळले ज्ञाना निर्माण झालेला होऊ नये
What is meditation? Meditation is not with the body, mind, with individual meditating. But this knowledge I have, this consciousness meditating on itself, then the consciousness will unfold the beginning of this, how this consciousness came about.
You must meditate.
So the meditation is by consciousness on itself, not by an individual body-mind meditating on something else. We repeat this very often.
पुढे लोक हेच खरं मानतात त्याचा उद्भव पाहिलेला नाही याचा उद्भव जे झालेला आहे तो ओळखा तो ओळखल्यानंतर सर्व संकट होऊ
So we,
शकतो निर्गुण काय आहे पुढे होऊ
this identification is with what? With this body that is now. But this is understand the origin of it. A tiny speck. If you understand that, then you won't find so much pride in the body that is now exists.
तुला केव्हा भेटला आमच्या टाइम झाला तो जाना नहीं बैठना में अच्छा लगता है ठीक है
सबसे अच्छी तबीयत आपकी
ना आज के दिन तबियत बहुत ठीक है
आज के रोज में और पिछले 2-3 रोज में
ऐसा फिल्म में कहा ऐसा
today I'm feeling much better. Today is feeling much better.
उस खाने का आस नहीं लगता है,
Don't feel like eating anything.
कोई भी खाने का आस नहीं लगता।
भूख लगती कि नहीं महाराज?
भूख लगता है समझता नहीं, खाने खाता है, टाइम के ऊपर खाता है, बाकी बहुत
I eat timely, but I do not know whether I feel hungry or not. But I take my meal timely. कहते हैं उसमें भी तकलीफ होती होगी।
अभी थोड़ा मालूम हो गया, बचने अभी तो नहीं, 40 और 2 वर्ष का बात करता है
जी
40 और 2 वर्ष, नहीं 40 वर्ष काम करता है।
I am sitting and talking for the last 42 years here, so I am used to it. But I am not particularly troubled. नहीं तो महाराज आप ये जो भेंट के जो घंटे हैं इसको कम कर सकते हैं। 2 दफा जो मिलना है तो एक ही दफा मिलना, तो दर्शन का जो समय है उसको कम कर सकते हैं।
वैसा मौका आएगा वैसा तो नहीं।
हाँ जी, if I feel the necessity, I'll reduce the hours. If I feel the necessity, I'll reduce the hours of discourses.
आया सवाल, आया सवाल में आया और बात, ये दोनों हाल जब तक कुछ ना है, कुछ तकलीफ मालूम होगी, कुछ ना कुछ तकलीफ नहीं ना होगी। आया और चार होगा जब आया नहीं
तुमुक तो अभी भी है।
है, वो भी आया और प्राण है ना।
हाँ, तो वो
क्या
Last questions and you will be released, you say. You will be released of all doubts. So in freedom you will go.
Doubting, but it's just a matter of forgetting the teaching. That's
No. हा शंकेचा प्रश्न नाही आहे, पण सगळं विसरण्याचा प्रश्न आहे. व्हेरी करेक्ट.
शंकर प्रश्न झाल्याशिवाय विसरू शकतो.
Yes, but that forgetfulness, that noble, highest, elevated forgetfulness will not arrive until all doubts are thrown out.
शंका नष्ट झाल्याशिवाय उभं राहतो नाही. शंका
Unless the doubts are exterminated, that freedom or that peace will not prevail.
I often want to know that I, in me,
In me and I, there are two now.
yes, in me means the body. In the body,
Oh.
the real I,
Oh,
that's the Brahma, which is part of Parabrahma. That I,
formless, bodiless I you mean.
yes,
What he normally says.
yes,
That I is
that I is in
Brahman only.
Brahman only.
Yes.
So just because it is encased in a
Yeah.
body, human body,
Hmm.
made of food and the elements, is it so helpless? Does it do anything in the chalan, in the working of the universe? Or only it is the duty of the Parabrahma, and this I is absolutely
You get this point clarified. You have said about Parabrahman. You have said about bodily I, body I, and you said something indwelling principle.
the Atma and Paramatma. आत्मा परमात्मा का अंश है ना, आत्मा परमात्मा का अंश है कि नहीं? So Atma, just because it is encased in body, is it so helpless and it does not know what is happening?
ते म्हणतायत हा देहातला मी म्हणजे जो आत्मा या देहात अडकल्यामुळे इतका असहाय्य झाला आहे की त्याला जगामध्ये त्याला वावरताच येत नाही का? हे सगळं ब्रह्माच्या ह्याने चाललेलं आहे.
वावरल्याशिवाय चालत नाही, पण सहन होत नाही.
वावरल्याशिवाय चालत नाही.
वावरल्याशिवाय काय चालत नाही. पण या बुद्धीने आत्मा सहन होत नाही. अजिबात नाही. ज्यावेळी देवाला जायचं परमात्मा आहे. देवाला जायचं आहे
ते मानवत
परमात्मा आहे. अजिबात नाही. या बुद्धी आहे. देहाची आठवण देहाच्या ओळखीने वावरत.
He says, so long as our identity, I get myself identified with the body, I
July 6th, 1980, evening session continued.
Some of us are good at reading books and some of us not so good. So it's easy for us to, spout back the verbal input that we get. So much more that happens, when we're in Maharaj's company, whether it's in his physical presence or even in his presence when reading books. And I think that's what draws us so strongly to want to be with him. Because it's like the need for all the talk at times just gets undone. And that presence presents itself.
सगळं बोलणं जे बोलतो आहे ते लवकर असतं. काय पण लक्षात आल्यानंतर जे ऐकलं केलं पाहिजे तेच सगळं कोणतरी बोलणार. बालपण लक्षात आल्यानंतर जे ऐकलं बोललं काय काय वागलं तेच बोलणार. त्याशिवाय बोलणार काय?
So whatever talks we do, that is only objective knowledge, he says. He says, after you had your eye consciousness first, as a child, and thereafter whatever impressions you gathered, on that basis also only you will talk. What more will you talk? Whatever impressions you carried, the same you will express, isn't it? So that is limited value. It is only objective. It is only objective knowledge.
Puts in any communication, from Maharaj is to serve our freedom from all of that. Sometimes concepts need to be clarified. That's the only purpose. Purpose for me in coming here is to just drop a lifetime of concern with concepts, hours and hours every day.
ज्या बालपणापासून पुढे वाढला ते कशाबरोबर केलेलं आहे ते बालपण मुळामध्ये लबाड आहे. बालपण मुळातच लबाड आहे.
He says that childhood, you were a child for some time, thereafter you grew to a manhood. Now that childhood itself is a cheat, he says. As a child, that is a cheat. There is no truth in that.
मग तो एवढा होता, केवढा झाला, केवढा झाला, केवढा झाला, आणखी मोठा झाला, ज्ञानवान झाला, शेवटी सगळं मी म्हातारा झाला. या जे जे तू झालास काय तुला त्याचं ज्ञान झालं ते हयात राहणार नाही. म्हणजे ते बालपण खरं खोटं.
He says supporting all this, whatever your form, the body form went on changing. Your so-called knowledge, objective knowledge also went on changing. So ultimately you will grow old, and whatever happened is all like a dream. It has no substance. So ultimately supporting all this dream or untruth is that child. It began with that child. So whatever is supporting all that which is false, what can you talk about that child?
अगदी जेव्हा म्हातारा जर्जर झाला तेव्हा म्हणजे सगळी जे ओळख होती सगळी फुकट गेली. असा आहे कसा आहे कसा आहे म्हणजे कोणतंही ज्ञान प्रामाणिक नाही, अप्रमाण. शेवटी बालपण सुद्धा गेलं की अप्रमाण म्हणून ते सुद्धा प्रामाणिक नाही म्हणून ते गेलं. तुझं काय
So as a childhood, it all began, and you started gathering objective knowledge. And when you became very old, you forgot all that. So all that knowledge, objective knowledge, was of no use. So what are you? He is asking now. Whatever you gathered, your identity, all your form, everything, you lost all that knowledge and everything. So what are you? What?
अधिक आयुष्याने जेव्हा तो मरतो कोणी तेव्हा मरतो हे समजून त्याला काय येते.
Suppose somebody becomes very old, okay, 125 years old, and then he becomes very weak, and ultimately he is said to die. Now, why is it said that that person is dead? Because of what? We say that that fellow is.
Objectively, it's very clear to me when a person is dead. You know, the vital breath just leaves, and there's a time when obviously the vital breath is there, and the body's just, you know, a heap of cells after that.
ते काय प्राण निघून गेला आणि तो देह पडलेला आहे. ते देह म्हणजे काय नाही, फक्त सेल, पेशींचा संचय असं.
म्हणजे तू म्हणजे बालपण म्हणजे होते तू संपले तिकडे गेला नको नेला.
So according to him, he says, when the childhood gets exhausted, you call him dead, isn't it?
हे बालपण म्हणजे निमित्त होते ते कृष्ण आयुष्याला जर जर होत संपले लेणे दिलेलं.
So the childhood got extinguished, it got exhausted, it didn't die. It got exhausted or extinguished. Because all began with that childhood. Because of childhood was there, the person was living. When it got exhausted or extinguished, we say he is dead.
लक्ष झालं का?
You understood this point about the childhood?
Life begins and ends with a childish state of mind.
जीवनाची सुरुवात.
It's like the other point I take is that, you know, childhood is when this body being is set into motion. Then death is the end of that motion that is initiated.
ते म्हणतात देह निर्माण झाला आणि हालचाल सुरू झाली, ही सुरुवात झाली म्हणजे बालपण. आणि ते संपलं म्हणजे बालपणाचं
तिकडे घ्या
असं आपल्याला म्हणायचं का विचार करतो.
The other thing I hear is that unless there is the greatest grace of life, and that is the presence of the true Guru in his instruction, then the state of mind that you begin life with is exactly the same state of mind that you'll leave life with, a childish, ignorant, unenlightened state.
ते म्हणतात ज्ञानी सत्पुरुष गुरु मिळाल्यानंतर ज्याच्याने आपण सुरुवात केली ते बाळपण म्हणून, त्या तसाच अंत शेवट होणार का म्हणजे अज्ञान, शुद्ध अज्ञान.
शेवट होणे न होणे हे बाकी सोडून घे, पण बालपण हे नाव कशाला आलं त्याची ओळख करून घे.
Forget about that ending business. He says why it is called as childhood. What is that entity and how that name childhood appeared first? To try to understand that. What is that principle which is called as the childhood?
Consciousness is very rudimentary in a child. There's no
Where from it comes? Ultimately it comes, no? It develops. Where from it comes? That sweetness.
it's because of the biochemical changes that occur and the fruit ripens.
त्याच्यामध्ये जे काही बदल होतात
आणि त्याच्यामध्ये शिक्षण झाल्यानंतर तो ज्ञान लागून येतो. पण तू बालपण तुझा तू जोपर्यंत ओळखलाच नाही तोपर्यंत तू मुक्ती होत नाही. तुला बालपण जेव्हा तू ओळखला तेव्हा तू मुक्त्या मुक्त आहे तुला कळून दे.
when you will understand what this childhood is, then that is liberation. Then you will understand that you are already liberated.
हे जे ज्ञान आहे तो बालपणाचा बाल गुण आहे. बालपणीचा बाल गुण आहे. तो जोपर्यंत ओळखलाच नाही तोपर्यंत जगातलं सगळं ज्ञान तुला फुकट आहे. दादागिरी करायला कारण नाही.
He says your I consciousness or beingness, you must try to understand that. With that you can get lot of other knowledge, objective knowledge, and try to control the world. Now, if you don't understand that itself, that consciousness, then you are in bondage. You may do anything in the world, but ultimately you are in bondage.
बाळपणाचा बाळगुण गुणाने त्याच गुणाने ओळखायचं आहे. बाळगुणाने बाळगुण ओळखायचं आहे. ओळखला.
He says that the consciousness, the child consciousness, the consciousness has to know the consciousness. It has to know itself. That is the only way.
1000 वर्ष जर तुम्ही आयुष्य असले तरी त्यापैकी एकही ओळख तुझ्या सहवासाला असणार ना.
See, if you live for about 1000 years, whatever identity you will have from time to time, nothing will remain same. And you will not have any permanent identity for yourself, even with the life of 1000 years.
ही ओळख गेली, ती ओळख गेली, ती ओळख गेली, सगळ्या ओळखी जातील आणि बालपण म्हणजे ओळख आहे ती पण झाली.
Everything begins with that your knowledge that you are a child. So that goes finally, he says, everything, all your identity will disappear. Even that child identity also will disappear ultimately.
लक्षांचं बोला तुम्ही याच्यावर.
Any comments on this?
काही बोला.
Any objection? बरोबर आहे.
काय का बालपण बालगुण खरं आहे का?
This childhood and that child consciousness, is it true? He is asking.
आता हे ज्याने ओळखलं त्याला काय म्हणावं?
One who has recognized this, that it is false, the child consciousness or that childhood. So what will you say about that man? One who has understood that. ते वरच्या पातळीवर आहेत. ते वरच्या पातळीवर असतील म्हणे पुढे म्हणतात. असं म्हणणारा अव्यक्तच असू शकेल.
पण वरती पातळी खालती पातळी कशी काय कळली तुला?
How do you know about these levels? काय ते पण खोट आहे म्हणते. पातळ्या पण खोट्या आहेत म्हणते.
हे ज्याने ओळखलं त्याला निर्वाण कशी नावं दिली होती बदल्या. त्याचा अर्थ काय आहे? मुंबई नावाचा अर्थ आहे तो त्याचा अर्थ आहे. परमात्मा त्याला नाव परमात्मा दिलं. परमात्मा नावाचा अर्थ काय आणि व्यवहार काय? मुंबई नावाचा अर्थ त्याचा व्यवहार आहे तो. मुंबई काय करते? मुंबई काळी आहे, गोरी आहे, डाग आहे, गोटी आहे. मुंबईचा व्यवहार कर्माचरण काय आहे मुंबईला?
One who has understood this becomes the various terms used for him are nirgun, nirvan. Nirvan means no sample. Nirgun means no beyond consciousness. So he says the activities of that nirgun or nirvan is like this Bombay.
त्याला नाव
What are the activities of
परमात्मा
Bombay? He is asking.
या प्रदेशाला नाव मुंबई दिलं आहे तसं त्याला नाव ज्याला कळलं आहे काय आणि कळण्याच्या पलीकडे गेला होतो त्याला परमात्मा नाव दिलेलं आहे. त्याचं क्रियाचरण मुंबई सारखं आहे.
So one who knows this, one who has understood this truth and who has transcended it, his activities are like the city of Bombay, he says.
त्याचं काय आहे?
That's true.
Is it true? You believe?
I think the activities are much greater for the city of Bombay. It's certainly spread much further around.
Bombay means without this land, without the earth portion. Because you can't say exactly this is Bombay city.
No, it's good. Right, so I think that goes for it.
त्या मुंबईपेक्षा मोठं त्याला काहीतरी
म्हणायला लहान असेल तर मोठं असेल ना. अगोदर लहान असेल तर मोठंही असेल. लहानच मुळात नाही तर मोठं कुठं आलं?
See, small and big you can compare when there is something, but there is nothing small also. If that is the only existing, now how can you compare? There is no comparison. It's small and big.
मोठ्याचं मोठेपण दाखवणार, लहानपण दाखवल्याशिवाय मोठेपण कळेल का?
If you want to compare somebody as big, then you must show something which is small, isn't it? Otherwise, how will you compare? You must have something small for comparison.
दाखवतो ते मोठा आहे म्हणाला लहान दाखवला पाहिजे की नको? लहान दाखवलं जर नाही तर मोठं कोणाला म्हणायचं?
Something very small, then you cannot say that something is big. It is relative.
But we do that all the time.
पण तरी आम्ही त्याचा उपयोग करतो म्हणे लहान मोठं म्हणायचा.
The most obvious way.
ही व्यवहार क्रिया आहे, ती एक व्यवहार क्रिया आहे.
For your worldly activities, or in the objective world, yes, you use those terms.
स्वप्नाचरण
Like a dream.
क्रिया म्हणजे स्वप्नाचरण, स्वप्नातली वागणूक.
So all the activities are like those activities in the dream. Behavior in the dream state. ही मोठी परीक्षा आहे.
परीक्षा कोण आहे इथे?
Now, I'm just saying, for some of us, life creates incredibly complicated, and superficially appealing dream. The great challenge is to accept it as dream and to see through the bondage that it represents to us because of its implications for name and fame and not just being able to sacrifice it.
स्वप्न हे स्वप्न आहे असं समजेपर्यंत आहे, बंधनात आहेत, हे बंधन आहे. स्वप्न हे स्वप्न ओळखणं म्हणजे हीच परीक्षा म्हणतो. दॅट इज अ टेस्ट.
लहानपणाचा अनुभव नसताना मोठं कोण आहे? बालपण लहान आहे, बालपणाचा अनुभव नसताना मोठं कोण आहे? हे काय आहे?
Now this consciousness it began with your consciousness as a child. You were a child at some time when that I consciousness first appeared. Now because of that appearance of that consciousness, you can say that somebody is very great. Now suppose that consciousness had not appeared, could you have detected the greatness of somebody?
I wouldn't have known. I would be non-conscious.
जाणीवे रहित मला काही कोणाचा काही मोठेपणा काही कळला नसता.
म्हणजे तुला लहानपणाचा अनुभव नाही म्हणून मोठेपण कळत नाही. लहानपणाचा अनुभव असेल तरच मोठेपणा कळेल.
So it means that experience as a child, that child consciousness, in the absence of that child consciousness, you cannot detect the greatness, isn't it?
Not our first impressions, of self-awareness as a child. It's the painful memories that usually bring you to that, rather than all the happy, playful times when there was just no need, when you weren't thrown back in on yourself.
So remembering the childhood means painful experience, according to you.
Well, that's the first time that self-awareness arises, when you're hurt, when you're rejected, when you're beaten up by your friends, when your mother spanks you, when your mother or father neglects your need for love.
बालपण म्हणजे दुःख. बालपणाचा अनुभव त्याला दुःखाचा अनुभव आहे.
Says that childhood itself is painful, he says. Without a childhood, there is no pain, no experience of pain, isn't it? Very straight, very simple to understand.
बालपणाचा अनुभव झाला नाही त्याला दुःखाचा अनुभव असलं देखील
one who has not experienced childhood, will he have any experience of pain? He started with that, no?
Well, is very much better. I say I don't think adulthood is very much better on its own terms.
No, he means the beginning.
हा एक कल्पना अनुभव आहे. बालपण म्हणजे आहे एक कल्पना अनुभव आहे. बालपण कल्पनाची होणार.
So that childhood, he says, is also a concept. It is an idea. So if you understand that, you transcend all concepts. That's why you have to understand that childhood.
एवढं दर्शवले आहे असं दर्शवलं. या पलीकडे बालपणाला काय आपण आहे असं दर्शवलं हे बालपणाला काम करतो.
What is the work of that childhood? The work is that you came to know you exist. That's all it has done here.
मग तो पण आहे असं कधीच वाटवलं नाही.
Because of the childhood, you came to know that you existed. And prior to that, you had no experience of the I consciousness.
काय लागतं जोपर्यंत तोपर्यंत आहे असं वाटलं होतं आपण.
I consciousness first appeared because of the childhood only. Prior to that, there was no experience.
आपण लबाड आहे लक्षात ठेवा. बालाजीने शब्द काय वापरला होता अशी पण लबाड आहे बालपणलाच आहे
असे पण.
अशी पण लबाड आहे.
So the difference between his statement and his Guru's statement is he says, Maharaj says that childhood is a cheat. It is false. His Guru said that beingness is a cheat. Knowledge I am itself is a cheat. That is what his Guru said.
आल्यासारखं फक्त घासलंच
आहे असं बघ.
आणि आल्याबरोबर ते घास घास आला आणि गेला म्हणजे आलं गेलं नाही ते आहे नाही.
बालपण गेलं तरच तो गेला. बालपणामुळे तो आला. बालपण बसलं ते बसलं आहे असं बघ. बालपण बनवलं ते आहे असं बघायचं नव्हतं.
फक्त तेच तिथे बटाळ.
हा त्याचा माया मायामुळे आहे मोह.
So as soon as the beingness appears,
माया
that love for that existence is the result of primary illusion, that Maya. Once you come to know that you exist, you feel like remaining eternally. You always want to be. You want to exist. You want to survive. Also, that the struggle begins there. That is because of that Maya.
काहीच नाही बोलायचं नाही. काय
Doctor has told him not to talk. डॉक्टरांशी बोला म्हणून.
Tell Maharaj not to talk. It's his only reason for being with us.
Pardon?
I say, how could any doctor tell Maharaj not to talk? That's his reason for his being with us.
I didn't understand. What is your last?
चांगला नको बोलू म्हणून. ज्याला काय झालं हे ज्याने ओळखलं तो चांगला बोललो.
He says a doctor who has examined him and who has found out what is wrong with him, then he will say, don't talk.
Well, that's a standard advice for someone.
Pardon?
स्टँडर्ड ऍडवाइस.
I said that's a standard advice. Supreme doctor of life and death, and his medicine comes through his words.
ते म्हणतात आपणच सर्वात अगदी उच्च दर्जाचे डॉक्टर, अंतिम डॉक्टर आपणच. की डॉक्टर कशाचे तर मृत्यू आणि जन्म आणि मृत्यूचे. त्यांच्या शब्दाने आमच्या सगळं हे
औषध देतात नाही शब्दाने.
शब्दाने आमचं हे औषध देतात.
वेदमूर्ती बरावाले
वेदमूर्ती
वाले बोलणे म्हणत नाही. मुलाने बोलून 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 हे सगळं प्रसार केलं म्हणून त्या वाणीला वेदमूर्ती म्हणतात. बरावा.
The 4 kinds of speeches he described. No, para, pashanti, madhyama, vaikhari. That para, the original. That speech is the Vedas. That he described. Veda Murti.
वेद नारायणा.
Veda is Narayan, the God. Veda, the speech. The meaning of Veda is word.
असं तुला ब्रह्मचारी नारायण असं ब्रह्मचारी.
He is describing Narayana. Narayana, name of a God. Narayana means 2 words. Combination of 2 words, male and female. He is a combination of 2 words, male and female, but still he is a celibate. He says, Narayana is a celibate. Brahmachari.
मतलब ऐकला आणि थोडा ऐकला आणि नंतर ऐकायचं बंद करा. बायचं डोकं रिकामी होऊन जाईल. डोकं रिकामी होऊन जाईल.
You have heard him sufficiently. He
ऐकू
says,
नका.
listen some more. Then afterwards you go away. He says. He advises you. Otherwise you will become thoughtless. It will be empty. Your head will become empty. He says.
Take that.
चालेल, असं आवडेल ना.
I came 12,000
त्यासाठी आल्या. योग्य.
त्या योग्य असला पाहिजे.
These talks, in order to ask a question, you should be fit to listen.
असलेला पाहिजे. नाही सांडून असलेला पाहिजे.
Says you have to give up the non-being. Nahi sandun. You have to give up, drop that non-being also in order to understand him, in order to ask him.
म्हणजे हे आत्ता आहे बोलतोय हे नव्याने नाही झालं पाहिजे.
That which is talking now, it is not. That conviction must come. That a principle which is asking questions, it is not. That the beingness is referring to the beingness. That it never exists. That sort of conviction should be there.
कुठे नाही झालं. आहे जे कुठे ते नाही झालं.
नाही पण आले.
आहे नाही राहू दे बोलू दे.
Sorry, that.
मला काय म्हणायचं मुंबई.
I'm that. Some problem.
जे उरले ते परब्रह्म. परब्रह्म म्हणजे मुंबई.
Appears has really no existence. It does not exist. And if whatever doesn't appear, also when drops away, whatever remains is that absolute. That is like Bombay.
ते दोन असं करत असते.
मला वाटतं पहिल्यांदाच ऐकलंय.
Possibly appearing at the moment. You should sow in another city.
Now he normally asks you a question like this: whether Bombay sleeps, whether Bombay wakes up in the morning, whether Bombay is worried.
Whether Bombay is
Worried.
worried.
Whether Bombay has pain and pleasure. It doesn't refer to the people of Bombay. It doesn't refer to the land also. But what remains? He refers as Bombay.
यापूर्वी चालू आहे पुण्याच्या त्याच्या पूर्वी कधी होता का.
Now you know that you are. Now prior to this moment, did you have this knowledge that you existed? This consciousness, beingness which you are having now, experiencing now, was it there earlier?
It has been on and on.
बराच काळ ती आहे. बराच काळ ती आहे. त्याचा सहवास आहे.
आता जो सहवास आहे तो आता आहे सहवास. पूर्वी पण असा कधी सहवासाला होता का आपण श्वास.
This confidence that you are, the knowledge that you are, that you exist, was it there earlier? Then I'm just translating. I have not understood exactly what he means.
When I do what he tells me,
It's clear?
yes,
No. Now
it's
you
still
have to,
in an infantile stage, but that
but you have to reply.
my sense of me is completely undone, and there is a great happiness and peace and clarity that arises. But it comes and goes. I forget. That's the only way that I can see to answer this question, unless he's getting at something else. And you sort of thinking, I'm sure.
मतलब काय म्हणजे शाश्वत नाहीये हे काही काळापुरतं आहे.
कोणी जर म्हणायचं तो आता आहे हा तुम्हाला खरा मानू नको. मग ते होईल.
He says, don't believe that it really exists. This consciousness, I consciousness, which was not there eternally. It was not there for some time, Now it is time bound. It has appeared at the childhood and it is there now. But it was not there some years back. So you cannot say that is eternal. So don't believe it that it is true.
संभाळलेला विश्वास तुझ्या सहवासाला लागला. मग त्या विश्वासाच्या आधारे तू काय मिळवलं असशील त्याचा काय उपयोग?
See, because so long as you are having this I consciousness, you are trying to acquire things. And so long as you know that you are, those things have meaning. Whatever you possess has a meaning. Now, when this itself is time bound, your I consciousness. So when the consciousness dissolves, what is the value of all those things which you possessed?
Nothing.
काय त्याची काय किंमत?
काय करतो? या बालपणाची ओळख तुला झाली पाहिजे. बालपणाची ओळख जोपर्यंत तुला झाली नाही तोपर्यंत याच्यात मोठी राहणार.
So long as you are not understood this child consciousness, then you will get involved in this world, in these activities. So the real liberation is only when you understand that child consciousness. Do you agree?
I do agree.
प्रामाणिक अवस्था एकही नाही. पुष्कळ प्रकारे त्याला आपली ओळख झाली असेल पण एकही ओळख शेजारी राहत नाही.
He says, during your lifetime, you don't have any permanent sort of identity. Whatever you consider yourself to be changes from moment to moment.
You become changes too with time, quite despite yourself.
What is it?
I say, the way you think your life is going to unfold 5 years back from what it is now.
बालपणाचा गुण आहे.
That also happens because
बालपण
of that.
म्हणजे काय आहे ते ओळख नाही शकतो. तो बालपणाचा गुण आहे.
That change is also because of that child consciousness. Because of that, these changes take place, he says. That's why you must understand that principle.
ऐकणापणा आता याचं ज्ञान ऐकण्याचं ज्ञान तुम्हाला झालं पाहिजे. ऐकणं त्याचं ज्ञान तुम्हाला झालं पाहिजे. तो तुम्ही आमच्या वचने आपल्याला आलं कार्याचे ज्ञान आपण आहे हा निश्चय घेऊन ज्ञान रूपाने वागा. देह रूपाने वागू. देह वापरा पण वागताना मी देह आहे हे लक्ष वापरू नका. जमीर का म्हणा.
He says, now if you really want to understand what he says, then you must give up your identification with the body. You must not identify that you are the body. Make use of the body, no doubt about it. But he says, don't consider yourself to be the body and act in this world. But take yourself, identify yourself with that consciousness which is in the body. And with that identity, you can act in the world. Will it be possible? He is asking.
With His grace.
Huh?
With His grace.
ज्ञान
I
नाही
pray
तर
that.
कसं?
कृपेने शक्य आहे.
पण ऐकणाराने प्रत्येकाला ही प्रतिज्ञा केली पाहिजे. ऐकणाराने प्रत्येकाला ही प्रतिज्ञा केली पाहिजे. गाया सांडून गायातीत असलेले गाया सांडून शाश्वत राहणारे जे रूप आहे ते आत्मरूप आपले. कायारूप आपलं नाही हे निश्चयाने झालं पाहिजे तर तुम्हाला हळूहळू दुःखाचा अनुभव कमी होईल. काय रूपाने तुम्ही जगाल तर दिवसेंदिवस दुःखाचा अनुभव वाढेलच, कमी होणार.
So long as you identify yourself as the body, your experience of pain and sorrow will increase day by day. That's why you must give up this identification. And you should take yourself as the consciousness.
कायच्या ओळखीने आपल्या ओळखीने आपलं म्हणतो तो कधी सुखी होणार त्यांना आणखी दुःखाचेच अनुभव येते.
That is the Atman. False. That principle which always remains, that is you. That's why if you identify with the body, then you will feel that you are dying. But really there is no death because you are not the body. Let the body be there or let it not be there. Your existence is always there, eternal.
कालाने ऐकले नाही तर कायेची ज्ञानाने ऐकलेलं आहे. कायेची ज्ञान हे आपले रूप आहे, ही प्रतिज्ञा पूर्ण करा.
Now, who has heard this talk from Maharaj? It is not the ear, not the physical body, but that knowledge which is in the body that has heard him. So identify yourself with that knowledge, that consciousness.
सुख आणि सुखाची नांदेली आहे, तात्पर्यापासून लबाड आहे. सुखाचे सुख म्हणून काय जर असेल तर तुम्ही असले असे विजयी ज्ञान आहे, त्याला आकार नाही, ते जातीने सुखरूप आहे.
Whatever happiness we say in this world, whatever happiness and joy that we consider in this world, they are only imaginary, he says. The real happiness is to know your existence, which is apart from the body.
अंतिम रोग ऐकला, अंतिम रोगाचा मग प्रयत्न करून सुद्धा ते नाव विसरायला होत नाही का?
He says, now whatever identity, your real identity he has been telling you, you should not forget it. How a patient is on deathbed and he is definitely going to die. Now, when he first came to know about that disease, say cancer, then he gets a shock. And he will never forget it. Like that, whatever identity he has told you, what is your true nature, you should never forget that.
कॅन्सरची आशंका करतो, विसरून विसरत नाही. त्याचं ज्ञान स्वरूप मी आहे हे विसरून जाता विसरता नाही.
Just as a person suffering from cancer, when he is told that you are suffering from cancer, then he will never forget it. In spite of all effort, he will never forget that he is suffering from cancer. Similarly, you are that knowledge, you are that consciousness. That identity of yours should never forget.
त्या नावाचा जप अजपा जप करतो तो, तसं ज्ञान स्वरूपाचा अजपा जप झाला पाहिजे, तेव्हा सांगत नाही, तेव्हा खोळंबत नाही.
Just as a patient suffering from cancer, all the time, he as if chanting that I am suffering from cancer, that chant goes on without any effort. Similarly, in this your case, you take yourself that chant that I am consciousness, I am consciousness, I am knowledge. That should go on without any effort.
असं ज्याला स्वरूपाचे ज्ञान झालं आहे तो पूर्ण ब्रह्म बनाव.
One who is constantly awake in this true nature, this knowledge about himself, true knowledge about yourself, one who is always awake in that state, then he is liberated.
त्याचं नाव अजपा जप म्हणतो, जसा मुली जसा विसरत नाही. मग त्याचा परिणाम त्याला तोच येतो, जे विसरला नाही, विसरता आले नाही, त्याचा परिणाम त्याला तोच होतो. कसा ज्याचा परिणाम नेला तो पूर्ण ब्रह्म आहे.
So just as a patient suffering from cancer, he always remembers it and ultimately he has the end also accordingly. Death is certain. Similarly, one who remembers that he is the knowledge, he is the consciousness, has that end, he becomes that Parabrahma.
कसा फोटो घेता येतो की नाही?
Can you photograph the name of Bombay?
If it's printed, yes.
Can you photograph Bombay without the land and the people? नाही.
म्हणजे भूगोलाचा फोटो घेऊ नको, मुंबईचा घेऊ.
So if you photograph this land, he will say no, don't photograph, take photograph of that land. But without land, whatever is Bombay, take photograph and show me. Can you?
I could not do it.
त्यावेळेस तुझ्या त्याला म्हणजे असा असणार मुंबई सारखा पदविका ज्याला परब्रह्म.
So that is like photographing yourself without the body. So you are that, like Bombay.
जप केल्याशिवाय जप चालू व्हायला पाहिजे.
That chanting of that the remembering of that you are the consciousness, that should be without any effort. When you put in effort, of course, that is there. But without effort, you should never forget it, that you are the consciousness. There should not be any effort involved in that.
पण चैतन्य ज्ञान वापरा, देह म्हणून वापरू नका. देह वापरा, पण त्याच्यामध्ये गेले चैतन्य ज्ञान आपल्या रूप आहे, हे प्रतिज्ञा तुम्ही लावा.
When you say I, don't refer that this body is I, but that I represents that consciousness. That consciousness is I, and act, make use of that knowledge when you act.
7th July 1980 morning.
July 7th, 1980, morning session begins.
Maharaj is asking you whether after coming here, you have found any support for peace and happiness.
तेव्हा ऐकलेल्या शब्दाचा स्वतःच्या दर्शनाचा, आत्म्याच्या दर्शनाचा तुला ऐकलेला म्हणतो.
This pleasure or happiness that you have had, is it through the words that you have heard, or is it because you have had a sight of your Atma? Because you have had some knowledge of your Atma, or is it because of the words that you have heard?
You see, I have been studying a lot all along, doing sadhana. So since I met Maharaj, things are clarifying. Also, I am getting confirmation of
तुम्ही असं काय बोला, तुम्हाला मस्त येतं. असं काय बोला.
what I learned. I am getting confirmation of that, and things are clarifying.
आता शेवटी निर्णय काय आला पाहिजे, ऐकलं, वाचलं, सगळं जे आणि पाहिलं. ऐकणारा आपण या उपाधीत नाही आहे. राग जोडणी कळते, पण या उपाधीत ऐकणारा नाही आहे. ऐकणाराचा वेगळा आहे. हा तुझा निश्चय झाला पाहिजे.
So he says, what should be your ultimate conclusion after reading a lot your sadhana and hearing what Maharaj has to say? What should the conclusion ultimately be? And he gives the answer. Answer is that the conclusion you should arrive at with conviction is that the hearer, the knower, is not concerned with this upadhi, that is, the body, mind and consciousness. But he is separate from this upadhi that has come on.
Sakshi Bhav, witness consciousness.
आपण साक्षी भाव म्हणता का?
साक्षी म्हणजे काय? आपण आपल्या हजेरी आपल्या दिसते, न पाहता दिसते भाषे ते साक्षीत्व ना. साक्षीभाव म्हणजे काय? आपली हजेरी आहे आणि त्या हजेरीमध्ये दिसते भाषे ते साक्षीत्व होतो. काय खर्च करावं लागतं काय?
So he says, we have used word sakshi bhav. You see, but what do you really mean by it? That there is a presence, that there is tension, in which you see what is happening. So other than that, is there anything to be done?
आता शून्य बरोबर आहे. साक्षीत्व करायला गेला ना,
Even now, the sun has arisen and there is daylight. Have you gone to do any witnessing? Or you see it
दृष्ट्याला
effortless?
दृष्ट्याला जाणत्याला साक्षी बनायचं आहे. तो साक्षीत्व करायला जाते, त्याला भरते. सूर्य बोला ऊन पडलाय, साक्षीत्व घडलं, मी साक्षीत्व करायला गेलो काय?
Therefore, witnessing takes place. There is nothing that what you call witness has to do. Witnessing happens.
Yes.
लक्षात येतं.
Yes.
And
आतापर्यंत करायला लागल्यापासून कळते, पण असं आपण असलेल्या ज्ञानाचे जे काही दुसऱ्या भाषेने घडले त्याचं साक्ष तुला घडलं, साक्षीनं फक्त तुला घडलं, त्याच्यात तू नाही.
Oh. Ever since this knowledge I am has dawned on me, since then, whatever other knowledge you have acquired, whatever experiences you have had, whatever you have seen of the world, has all been witnessed. But to whom the witnessing takes place, that